Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. A lot going on in the boxing world. Eddie Hearn feels that there should be VADA testing for every boxer in the sport. Bomac, going through his stuff out there in the UK right now. But there seems to be a topic that just will not go away when it comes to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Although they fought on July 29th, we're in September now. I mean, every day there seems to be something else that we can discuss relating to Spence and Crawford. But the one topic that some people just won't let go is the topic about Ped usage. Now, this is the argument. Some fans feel that there was no way in the world Terence Crawford could dominate Errol Spence the way he did unless he were on Peds, and they've gone on record to say not that him taking the supplements from Victor Conte, if Terence Crawford was definitely taking the supplements, which I know he was working with Snack, but if he was taking a specific supplement strategy, that it would only make sense that it would give him it would help with his performance in the ring, giving him an advantage. That's not what they're saying. That's what I say. Now, what they're saying is, no, Terence Crawford was on Peds. Like, they've already, found the man guilty. You know what I'm saying? There's no proof of Terence Crawford being on any Peds at all. When you asked him, okay, if he was on Peds, what performance enhancement, what banned substance was he on, or do you think he's on? They can't even tell you one. They don't know the name of any of these damn Peds or banned substances. They're just out here running around, fueled off of emotion, slandering Terence Crawford's name. Now, conversely, the Crawford fans were saying before the Crawford fight that Errol Spence was on Peds. Now, there's no proof of Errol Spence, like Crawford, taking any banned substances, being on any Peds, nothing at all. But it was the Crawford fans who were sitting here watching Errol Spence just mow through his opponents, outwork them, overwhelm them, and just beat them down, as Errol Spence would say, basically beat the will out of them, make them quit, put them in the dirt. And I'll tell you this, to sit back and watch the way Errol Spence has just overwhelmed opponents in the ring, it was very impressive. But I'm also going to say this for someone who's prided himself, especially when I was younger, on staying in shape. Someone who's trained for fights and someone who knows when you get in the ring, if you put the work in, it's going to show. And with Errol Spence, he's already a strong guy. I just think his conditioning was something that fighters he got in the ring with, they just couldn't handle. When you have a fighter who can fight from the first second of the first round non-stop to the last second of the last round, it's hard to beat him. Joe Calzaghe was another one of those guys. Not, necessarily a hard puncher, but he would just throw, hundreds of punches. Round after round after round. Chocolatito throws hundreds of punches. You know what I'm saying? You get in there with somebody like that, it is hard to beat them, especially if your conditioning isn't up there with theirs and you don't have good timing. So I sit back now and I'm like, yo, WTF, man. What is it? Both sides are saying the same thing. It's just a bunch of emotion. Now, what I will say is this. As far as Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's fight, and I've said it in other videos, but I'm going to say it again here. This video I'm about to wrap up here in a couple minutes. Terence Crawford, if he was taking a Conti cocktail, which was a supplement strategy to help boost his performance, right? And Errol Spence wasn't taking a cocktail from any pharmaceutical genius, then Terrence Crawford definitely would have had an advantage going into that fight. Now, for anyone out here who heard me say just now that Crawford was on Peds, that's not what I said. I'm going to put it to you this way. If I'm in the gym training, right, and I'm trying to get my bench press up from 295 to 315, and I have a partner of mine who I'm training with, and we're kind of competitive with each other, and he's at 295 as well. We're both at 295, same point in time. And then I decide, you know what? I've never taken any supplements or anything. I'm trying to get to 315 before him. Let me go out here and see. And then I go and do my little research and realize they got something called, creatine, where you can take your protein, you got NO2 Explode, you got Tribulus, you got arginine. You got all these different supplements you can take, make sure I'm eating right. And then my friend, he doesn't do anything except continue with his normal training and sets and just trying to get his bench to 315, doing it the old school way. I'm going to tell you right now, more than likely, I'll probably get to that 315 mark bench press before he does, because I decided to put together the proper cocktail. And I think with Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, I really think Crawford beats him no matter what, but I think he did his due diligence and gave himself the best chance to win. And that being said, going into the rematch, I want to say that I'm 90% sure that we got to see what happens with this rematch. There's so much going on, man, with Terrence Crawford and even Earl Spence and their teams and coaches. We just have to wait and see how the cards fall, right? But I'm 90% sure that Earl Spence is privy to Terrence Crawford working with Snack. And he's also watched how Terrence Crawford looked a bit more muscular. And he's going to make sure when he goes into that ring with Terrence Crawford this time, he's going to be on a level playing field. I think it should be at 154, but I am 100%, I'm 90% sure he's going to make sure that he has the right pharmaceutical genius in his corner too, to make sure that he has an advantage he didn't have, and that would make the playing field level, and then we should see a more competitive fight when they do get in the ring. But that being said, for all the Spence fans saying Crawford was on Peds, stop it. He wasn't on no damn Peds. To say, for Crawford fans to say Spence, well, just happened to be off the Peds for this fight. He was always on them before, but for the Crawford fight, he just wasn't able to take any. I got to say, hold your horses. Let's stop taking it to the stupid. Both sides are looking for arguments to say that their guy either was going to win or wasn't going to win. It's just finger pointing going on. But that being said, WTF to that argument. Spence and Crawford, looks like the rematch is going to take place. Not really sure when or what's going on. There's just so much up in the air right now. But nonetheless, at 154, let's see if we get a different fight. I personally don't think so. But if Spence can get the right pharmaceutical genius in his corner to conjure up the proper cocktail as part of his supplement strategy, it could get interesting. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.